This episode is brought to you by the Dolores Project. The Dolores Project provides 24/7 shelter, supportive housing, and behavioral health services for women, transgender, and non-binary people experiencing homelessness in Denver. The Dolores Project believes everyone deserves a safe place to belong. Their annual fundraiser, Building Belonging, is happening May 7th at Space Gallery in Denver. It's an evening of community, connection, and celebration. Get your tickets now at thedoloresproject.org.
Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver is talking about. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. It's a beautiful Wednesday, chilly morning, chilly week. I'm here with producer Olivia Jewel Love. Hey, Olivia, what's up?
Hey, Paul, are you trying your hand at forecasting? Since we record these in advance, you're just forecasting tomorrow's weather.
I looked at the forecast that a professional created, and I remembered it from yesterday. I'm going to actually give you my proper forecast straight from the Apple weather app.
Great.
Ooh, this is not going well. It's not loading.
Apple weather is also not the best.
What are we using? The kitty weather app? It's got
I Google Denver weather every morning.
And that's so much superior?
Yes.
Wow.
It absolutely is.
Well, that's why you're here. Authoritative weather takes. Also, she is the Denver Post city government reporter and one of our regular contributors, one of our favorite guests, Elliot Wenzler. Welcome back to CityCast Denver. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
Well, let's get into our top story here. It's nightclub business. And there's some changes going on. Denver's newly renamed Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection is proposing a revamp in the city's rules and regulations as part of Mayor Mike Johnson's push to make the city more business friendly. This is the first time these regulations have been revised, or it would be if this proposal goes through, since the 80s. But the business friendly part is interesting to me. And I got to be honest, I do not know the nightclub business very well at all. No personal experience whatsoever, except I've heard a lot of stories, and I remember this great character, Valenti's Corleones, we covered on the show a few years ago. I kind of hope he comes up. But Elliot, give us the news here. You reported this. What exactly is the proposal here from the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection?
Yeah, so this is a draft that's in very early stages so far. It's going to go through the whole city council process and everything. But the intention of it is, let's try to make licensing in Denver for entertainment, for nightlife, simpler. Let's also try to make it a little bit safer while we're at it. So right now, the city has like 14 different types of entertainment licenses, which are very, someone told me that they call them their footloose laws because they're very based on how much dancing is happening at each establishment, which is just like, not really necessary today. Because people, they said they have businesses coming in and being like, if someone dances on the way to the bathroom,
do I need to get a Lindy Hop
license? Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You actually need to do this paperwork over here for the Lindy Hop. Yeah. Okay,
so
that's hilarious.
This would simplify it to there being only 3 different entertainment licenses. They would be broken down into limited entertainment, which is going to be like the simplest one. And that's basically things that any kind of business that has live entertainment, a dance floor, target sports like axe throwing. It would exempt any performance that isn't amplified. So it would actually mean that a lot of places that currently have to get an entertainment license would not have to. So like a bar that wants to host trivia currently has to get an entertainment license. They wouldn't under this proposal.
Oh,
wow. Like bowling alleys, coffee shops that have, like a singer-songwriter performing in the corner, all of those types of businesses wouldn't need to get a license for that activity under this.
That's
the next level.
I mean, that's a big step towards being more business friendly. I mean, because that's a big pain in the ass that those business owners don't have to think about. If
Absolutely.
You're just having a guy with a guitar in the corner.
That's the hope, is that more businesses will just be like, what could we do to draw in more customers? Maybe we have some kind of live entertainment. Let's just do it tomorrow and see how it works and not have to go through this whole process.
Nice.
Then there's kind of the next biggest level is nightclub entertainment licenses, which will be for businesses that offer live music, DJ performances, or dancing, have a capacity of at least 100 people, and operate after 10 p.m. So that's like music venues, that's clubs, that's dance halls. That's kind of like probably more of what you think of when you think of, nightlife and nightclubs. And then the final one is adult entertainment licenses, which is, if you go and read the definition, is actually really interesting. It's basically just strip clubs. But they the definition is like talking about anatomical shows, basically. And it's very specifically trying to describe strip club without just saying.
Do you think it would cover burlesque?
That's a great question. There are some interesting, I wondered about burlesque, and I don't know, and I don't know if they know. There's still some kind of gaps here and there. Like I asked about comedy clubs, and they were like, we're not actually entirely sure where that would fit in here. So there's still a lot of opportunity for folks who care a lot about these industries to give their input. Because the other big thing that's happening here is that a lot of businesses will be under requirements to have like a security guard, a weapons check, because that's the other part of this is they want to try to make things safer. Nightclubs are going to have a requirement that they have to try to help with orderly dispersal at the end of the night.
This is clearly the other problem that they're trying to solve. Like what I read in this story was like, there's two things going on here. There's Mayor Mike wants to cut red tape, and then there's yet another attempt to fix the late night let out problem in LoDo, when everyone who has been drinking and getting, passions flaring all night long gets dumped out onto the street at 2 a.m. and there are fights. And there's violence. A few years ago, there was a shooting. Incidents all the time. I feel like I've heard probably a half dozen potential fixes to this problem.
Tell me about, let alone all of that, as somebody that has filtered out, has been shot out of the club when the lights flip on. Just the lack of Ubers when everybody's trying to get one at 2 a.m. And I have a terrible, I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's awful, but on a Halloween, the Halloween that year when we had the blizzard, I had friends in town. We went out. We stayed till the lights came on. We got out. No Ubers because everybody came out. It was snowing. It was a blizzard. 0 Ubers. So we were just on the street in Halloween costumes in the snow, just wandering around. It was just bad. Bad.
New experiences are how memories are made. That's what I always say.
I don't have a lot of memories from that night, I'm going to be honest with you, but
to Paul's earlier point about experience with nightclubs, when I was doing the interviews for this story, I was asking them so many questions I was like, so what is this trying to solve for? Like, what is happening when the nightclubs let out at 2 a.m.? And then at some point I caught myself and I was like, wow, I'm really revealing how little I know about the nightclub scene. And they were like, we also are learning a lot about, the licensing department. Also not known for being at the clubs till super
So
late.
you're saying your reporting didn't include staying at the club until let out?
Unfortunately, it did not. Maybe a future piece could. I was saying before we started recording, one of the only times I have been to a nightclub in Denver was at the behest of Olivia here. So maybe Olivia. No, she got me into ear damage mostly.
What? I don't even remember. We went to Milk Bar before it was even prime club time. We went early in the night. I didn't even throw you into the deep end of it. We were just there hanging out, and we mostly sat on the patio because I didn't know they had a patio, and we were chilling.
We were chilling.
We were the only people there, and we were dancing by ourselves. Good thing they had a license, though, right?
Yes. The music's just so loud.
Let me drive us towards the conflict here that I see in this story, which is these two different things they're trying to address at one time. Trying to make the city more business friendly, but also trying to fix this problem. So I'm going to ask you the question that I would love to ask the mayor, which is, How are regulations requiring nightclubs to hire licensed security guards, install video surveillance systems, implement weapons screening, metal detectors, bag checks, pat-down searches, hire a dedicated manager of like being a point person for the city? How are all those requirements business friendly?
Should I try to do my best Mayor Mike Johnston impression? I'm not going to do that.
There's values on both sides that we
There's
believe in.
vibrance on both sides. I think that the way that the vibrancy
This
will
is a
be
dilemma,
accomplished.
not a conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I do actually think that
Classic
he would probably say that those two things are not in conflict. The parts that are that they're trying to aim for making like more business friendly is more of the like fewer businesses needing licenses, the license process being simpler.
Sure.
But in the past, any business that wanted to do live entertainment and sold liquor had to get a cabaret license, which meant they had to do a city hearing required for every single business that did that. That will no longer be the case under this proposed ordinance. They would only have to do a hearing if neighbors basically complained. There's kind of like a process for, and so that would also mean most of them are hiring attorneys for that process. So they don't have to hire attorneys anymore for that. So like that's the part of it that is meant to be making it easier to have entertainment. The safety stuff, from what I heard, is a lot of these clubs are already doing most of these things.
That's what I was going to say. I haven't been to a club in Denver or honestly anywhere that didn't already have somebody wanding you, looking in your purse, metal detectors, like all of these things. I don't think I've been to a single one that didn't do all of that already.
Yeah, this is what I've heard about these LoDo clubs especially too. Like these business owners know it's a problem. They want to have a safe place where people can come and have fun. That's part of why their businesses can exist.
Exactly. I would think that would be part of the business stuff. Like if people don't want to come, if they're worried they're going to get shot up and they're going to have people pulling a knife on them in the club, they're not going to want to go. So of course they want to go where it's going to be safer.
Right.
Well,
I think I was just going to say, I think that there are still some problem areas in the city. Obviously, like we hear about this, we know that there are places that don't have those. And so it would bring some into the fold. But with that being said, like the draft is not, everyone agrees that the draft is not perfect yet. I interviewed folks from One Denver, which is like a nightclub advocacy group. And they were like, we love that they're trying to modernize this, but we're worried that some of these regulations, like you're saying, Paul, are going to have the complete opposite effect. They're going to be requiring people to get wanded before they go into a folk show. And that's going to like change their experience. It's going to change the businesses. It's going to make things harder for them in some instances. And so they said that they have had really good interactions with the city, though, so far, and that the city has been like, we want to hear you out. Let's keep working on this. So I think that there is going to be a different draft that maybe changes what some of those requirements are before it actually goes before city council in June.
Tell me about the let out thing particularly, like the whole, like all the clubs let out at 2 a.m. Last call, I think at 1:30, and just, everyone just pours out on the street. Like how would these proposals change that?
So one of the biggest things that would be different that I think is really interesting is this would allow businesses to continue operating after liquor hour stops, basically. So the state imposes a 2 a.m.
The cocaine hour never stops.
That's true.
The whip it hour.
I mean, that's a different problem.
That's a different problem that the state tries to regulate in a different way. But yeah, so currently liquor stops being sold at 2 a.m. So that's when all the bars and clubs close. Underneath this proposal, they would be able to continue operating until 4 a.m. You wouldn't be able to buy booze anymore. And so the hope is that maybe that would actually stagger when people are leaving these establishments. So it wouldn't just be everyone closes at 2, so there's thousands of people pouring into the streets. It could be some people leave at 2, some people decide to stay for the rest of the show, like some people stay until 4 a.m., and it would just sort of break down how much.
I have so many feelings, like conflicting feelings about this.
Tell us your feelings.
Well, my best friend lives in New York City, and so the clubs like never close there. So it's like I've been there with her, and we've stayed out till 5 a.m., and I feel like I'm going to die. I hate it. I'm like, I don't want to stay out till 5 a.m. This sucks. But also, I'm thinking about this like 2 a.m. liquor cutoff and then open till 4. And I'm like, that buffer time might be good to give people a little bit of time to like dance it out, hang out before they're like just, couple shots, hit the street kind of thing, because like theoretically you could drink and then immediately be on the street as it is right now kind of thing, like with the way the liquor and let out time is right now. And like, to me, that's way more dangerous. You could be like, you don't have any buffer time between when you stop drinking and when you get let out of the club. So like, to me, this is like, we could corral people for a little bit, keep them inside, sober up a little bit maybe. But I mean, you can't really like force people to stay in. So I don't know.
I think it depends if they can offer other services. Like if the DJ can keep playing and people would want to stick around, or if they can,
I think they can with that.
food.
And I think some of them have I've been to other cities where it's like they have late night kitchens that are open past the liquor. And I'm like, that's the real move here. That's the real way to like get people to stop being drunk goblins immediately at let out. It's like have some greasy food after liquor cutoff. Then you're going to have that's the solution for peace, I think. That's how we're going to bring LoDo back. Like have some greasy fries.
There's so many interesting pieces of this LoDo situation, but I'm going to be honest. I want to hear from people who've actually lived it because I have not. I was at the Nuggets game last night. I was out until after midnight. I was very grumpy. They need to move those tip-off times earlier. Not related, but it's my grouse of the week, and I have to say it again. But listeners, we want to hear from you. 720-500-5418. Leave us your name, leave us your neighborhood, and tell us what you think about the LoDo let-out situation. Are these regulations the fix that you want to see, or do you got another idea? 720-500-5418. All right, we're going to go for a break and come back and talk about smells. Hey, we're back. Hey, you two.
Hey.
We're talking about smells. Denver ranks number 7 on a list of the best smelling cities in the United States of America. That includes Alaska and Hawaii, by the way.
What?
I know. This is a new survey. This is my favorite part of these kinds of lists, and I just looked at it, and it is, of course, as usual, very funny. But the organization that put out this survey is called McLuck. Like McDonald's, but McLuck. And it looks like a website where you can sign up and pay for, it looks like you have to become a member and then you pay for gold coins, digital coins that you can then put in digital slot machines and presumably win real money. I don't know, but this online gambling website is giving us this great survey of smells and smelly cities, and Denver is number 7 best smelling city. Olivia, what do you think?
I can't believe this. I talk so often about the stinky areas of Denver and like the fart index here, and I just can't. I was flabbergasted. Like I just couldn't believe that we ranked so high in the city. What? Any city? I couldn't believe any city was up here. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got to be honest. When Olivia texted me and was like, "We're going to be talking about Denver's smell ranking," I was like, "Oh, about how bad it smells because it smells so bad." And then
we got some smells here in Denver. We got
distinct.
some bad ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess these other cities do too.
Yeah. But apparently, okay, we have to talk about the methodology, though.
The methodology is amazing.
Sure.
It's
what is
so
it?
Good. Paul, are you going to tell us, or do you?
Okay. Here's the methodology. Apparently, they ranked cities based on a few different categories: candle stores per 10 square kilometers, bakeries, the bakery density, perfume stores. I'm going to be honest, the fact that Denver scores very low on bakery density makes me suspicious of the whole thing. I feel like we've been talking the last few years about how many bakeries we have in Denver, how there's a bakery boom, and yet there's only 6.1 bakeries per 10 square kilometers, according to McLuck.com.
Well, do we have bakery sprawl happening?
Maybe. That's a good point. There are,
I think we've
maybe
got
they got
bakery
more
sprawl.
bakery density, and San Francisco scores highest on bakeries, sourdough. Perfume stores per 10 square kilometers, florists per 10 square kilometers, and the cleanliness score, which I'm curious how they ranked that. I mean, do you think that the casino website sent people to all these cities?
Yeah, they were on the ground counting the amount of dog turds. They're like, how many pieces of dog poop are in this city?
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of a weird methodology, because it's like, you can walk past a perfume shop and maybe for half a second you smell some of the perfume from inside, but that's not really like what affects the smell of the city's air. Same with bakeries.
I'm gonna be honest, I never really thought about a perfume shop outside of those like perfume kiosks in malls that have 4,000 bottles of like exponentially expired perfumes that they're trying to like spray at you as you walk by. So I never really thought about like brick and mortar perfume stores until I read this this scientific study. So now I'm actually gonna think about that a little bit more.
There's a nice one, a new one on Tennyson. There's a brand that my wife really likes, LoDo, that just opened last year. And I remember when we visited LA a few years ago, she specifically wanted to go and to try out their scents, so she'd have a.
Oh no. We lost you, Paul.
Oh, no.
The power's back on. We just restarted the recording. We lost Paul for a little while.
Hours.
I was about
my God, the adventure
I was about
that
to finish
went
the
on.
show with just Elliot, but
Take over. It's all you.
It's all.
The show was about to come totally off the rails as Olivia and I
The show was about to go crazy. We were about to get so many new members. Anyway, we're back. We're still talking about the stink index in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Paul was just telling us about his wife's favorite perfume store that
Did
just
I say the
opened.
name of it?
La Loba.
LoDo. Fellas, here's what I was going to say. I was going to say, fellas, this is a great gift for a woman in your life. LoDo. They have scents named after cities. You can pick her favorite city, or you could ask her what she wants to smell like, and they'll help you out. It's a great store. That's all I wanted to say. Wow. I had something else, actually, I wanted to say about the smelly cities thing. The fact that there's like, this weird, I mean, this study is just baloney. We don't have to take it seriously. But the fact that they even would deign to compare cities reminded me of the fact, this great anecdote I heard once about flight attendants, and how if you go through flight attendant school, now I don't know if this is true, but it's a great anecdote regardless. If you go through flight attendant school, like one of the hazing rituals that they have you do before you can like officially become, welcomed into the, the sacred brotherhood or sisterhood of flight attendants is you have to open the doors of one of those big planes after it has completed a transoceanic flight, because the smell of everybody's collective farts is like so powerful that it's noxious and nauseating. But when you're on the plane and you're making the farts, some of them, you don't smell it because you get acclimated to it over the course of the flight. But apparently those flights are just very, very stinky. So I'm like, does Denver have that issue? Like, are there cities that are just really, really, really stinky, but because you live there, you don't notice the stink?
Are we living in a fart cloud?
I mean, it's possible. We're all living in a fart cloud right now. We're all
Be
just
the fart cloud you want to see
stewing in this
world.
disgusting stench. And new people come and they're like, I mean, maybe this is why new people think the food is bad, is because of the smell.
Whoa.
Hey, how about that? I'm going galaxy brain on this. I'm having a big day.
That was really like next level, like big brain. I don't even. Okay. My whole thing with this is my mind immediately went to what would be the metrics for bad smelling.
Okay.
Like what would be the bad smell metrics?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started thinking of a few. I think like overflowing grease traps per kilometer squared.
Little Man Ice Cream had one. The Lowry, that nice new complex in Lowry had that issue.
Yeah. The Calgary pear trees. Probably isn't that the stinky tree? Bradford pear, Calgary pear, those disgusting trees that bloom in the spring. Those would be on my, but they would probably have to be on a smaller like, because I think they're doing 10 kilometers squared, probably have to be smaller because we've planted so many of those around the United States. So I feel like those would be on my stinky list. Also, I think, probably the amount of like kavas and like boy kibble places, maybe like slop bowl purveyors, because like there's a lot of fiber happening in those for perhaps people that aren't normally eating fiber. So I'm thinking like the fart index could be higher near those locations. So I think that could also be why the area formerly known as the 16th Street Mall could be considered a bit farty. There's a lot of those bowl areas down there. I don't know. Chime in. What do you guys...
feel like you also have to do factories, right? Like the dog food, obviously.
Industry. Yeah.
And I don't know if other cities have this as much as Denver, but the whole like if it's about to snow, you can smell Greeley thing.
Yes. Cow shit.
This is also a thing here for sure.
Yeah, that's
well.
I wonder.
I mean, that brings up another thing about just like the regional surroundings. Denver. There's not a lot of other big cities around here. We have that Greeley connection, but I'm looking at this list from McLuck of good smelling cities. A lot of coastal cities. That's just places that don't have something like San Francisco. West of San Francisco, there's nothing causing a bad smell. Oh, fish. Fish is a bad smell.
I'm thinking about the Sloan's Lake. The Sloan's Lake. Dry up and fish.
Yeah, that's a stank.
Every summer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a stank.
I have to bring up from our friends at Denverite, the story from 2020 that they did. What smells where in Denver, where they did a smell map. Have you guys ever looked at this?
That. No, but I need
vaguely
it.
Rings
I need
a bell.
it printed.
I'm going to look it up.
I need it printed
I was so blown away by this when it came out. I thought it was the most fun thing ever. They mapped all of smell complaints in Denver from 2016 to 2019. And then they like put them on a map and you can click on it and you can see like, here's a complaint of someone who said they smell dead animals. Here's one where someone says they can smell marijuana. Here's one that's just chemicals. And so you can just like see what the different concerns are. They have it grouped by chemical smells, sewage smells, marijuana, unidentifiable, pet food, human waste, garbage.
How are they discerning human waste from dog poop?
Well, it's got to be about the complaint itself. Like if you're calling,
I know, but how is the complaint telling? How do they know? These are some next level.
The
sniffers.
complainant to themselves. Yeah, like if I'm smelling something, I'm not like, ooh, that's clearly chemicals.
That's clearly human poop, not dog poop. Like, why do you know?
Some people have a really keen sense of smell, Olivia.
Poop sniffer? That's what I'm hearing.
I'm looking at this map right now. It looks like the area around Confluence Park and REI up to the little man who had the grease trap issue. There's a lot of sewage smell complaints.
Platte River. The Platte.
That makes sense.
Stanky. Well, it was stanky. Isn't it less stanky now?
No, I don't know.
Allegedly.
The pet food thing is definitely an issue up through Rhino. That's a real hot spot. This is a fun map. We should put a link to this in.
Yes. I want an update.
Olivia, I'm looking at this map, Olivia, and I'm just seeing a big hot spot around your apartment of complaints. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, that tracks. It's weird.
It always mix of things too, which is like it's human waste, it's chemical, it's everything.
It's your cat
it's
Jimbo's
kind of
mouth.
Overwhelming.
It's when Pompey starts grooming himself, it's just literally diabolical. The amount of complaints I get, it's just crazy.
Hey, anyway, Olivia, what do you say we end the segment there? All right, we're going to take another break, and then we got a couple of listener emails about a great topic we talked about last week. Hey, we're back. One last thing. This is a surprise for you, Elliot, but we got some really good emails about this situation with REI. Someone put a banner out over the Confluence last Saturday. I don't know if you saw this, but it was the REI union. There's 11 unionized stores out of almost 200 REIs in the country that have unionized workforces. And this group of unionized workers they have authorized their union to call for a boycott. Which that decision is set to be made in the next few days. So I want to talk about it again because we got all these great comments from listeners. People feel all kinds of ways about this. Let me hit you with one from listener Kathy Z, who also identifies as a union member. Kathy writes, "Good morning, CityCast. Here are my thoughts on the REI boycott. I had been following the updates about the REI union issues, and what really made it easy to commit to a boycott of the store was both the treatment of the unionized workers. There have been allegations of union busting, I'll say. That's my aside. And the board not allowing candidates that supported the union on the ballot." Which is a reference to the union's first victory when they ran rival candidates to get on the REI board last year. And then the REI CEO, this is back to Kathy, supported Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum's nomination in the Trump cabinet. This is a man who is intent on destroying renewable energy and lifting up fossil fuels and destroying public lands. The question I think is interesting that Kathy poses next is, why would a company that is based off recreation on public lands support someone who is destroying public lands? This was the final nail in the coffin for Kathy, and she no longer shops there. Interesting question. That kind of gets to the tension of this whole situation of like, this company has grown so big and they have these values and maybe these workers have a different interpretation of these values. Have you been following this at all, Elliot, this REI union situation?
I gotta say, I have not at all, and I feel really out of the loop, but I'm interested to learn more. REI, it feels like, is such a core part of Denver's culture that it'll be really interesting to see which way people fall, because I think that there's a lot of union support in Denver, but there's also a lot of going outside support.
100%. I agree. It could be interesting. Let me give you another comment. This is from Heidi G, who wrote, "I will not boycott REI or any other company based on the employees being unhappy. They should be happy they have a job and they can quit and get a new one if they don't like it. Unless the owner personally F's me over. I went there the other day and a gentleman helped me through an emotional breakdown and even walked me to the register because I did not have my glasses. One girl got impatient with me, so I would boycott against her helping me, but not the whole company." That's
Wait,
very
was
funny.
That when you say Heidi G, was that definitely not Heidi Ganahl?
Former gubernatorial candidate Heidi Ganahl? You know, I talked to her for the story I did about Do Better Denver last year, and she was like, I was asking her, like, what do you like to do in Denver? You complain about Denver all the time, but do you ever like come to Denver? And the thing that she talked about was not REI, but it was going to Coors Field. She likes to see Rockies games. And she was like, every time I walk from my car to the Coors Field, it's always so disgusting. And there's always people asking me for things. It's like, so I don't know. Maybe it is Heidi G. But Heidi G goes on and says, "Sorry, same with Starbucks. BS to go against the company that hired you and gave you a chance. People need to stop fighting for a few more cents. Big companies are not just going to pay people more than they are worth. Facts." Ooh. Mic drop moment for Heidi G. Olivia, what do you make of these two polar opposite comments we got on the REI boycott situation? This was like such a contrast.
I mean, I don't even know what to say here. I mean, I guess I'm boycotting REI because I don't go to REI very much. So I'm joining the boycott because it's not Christmas and I don't have to go buy a gift for my dad, brother, and boyfriend right now. So joining the picket line. But no, I don't know. I feel like that comment from Heidi is hella harsh. Ouch. As somebody who has worked for very low pay, a couple cents does make a difference. If not for paying your rent, for feeling like you matter in the world. And it's painful to hear something like that for a lot of reasons. So, ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
But I guess enjoy your Starbucks and REI, Heidi.
I do think that Heidi, I mean, you hear this from Denverites sometimes. I think you're right, Elliot, that there's a very strong pro-union, pro-labor strain of Denverites, but there's definitely the other side of it as well. I mean, we have people who are just like, I think it's the libertarian streak of like wanting businesses to be just like unfettered, the free market.
Businesses can't exist without the people that work at them, though. So if, you know, when people go on strike and there's nobody to work at your business, you can't go there. You can't get your latte. So I don't know. I think that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we made it to the end somehow through twists and turns. Elliot Wensler, Olivia Jewell-Love, thank you so much for joining me.
Goodbye.
Smell you later.
When did you think of that? Did you think of
Just
that
now.
a half an hour ago? Just now?
Literally right
Ellie's been
now. I was like, what would be a good sign off? And it came to me.
She's been sitting on that since we told her the topic yesterday.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. And I just want to say a heartfelt thank you so much to all of the new members who've joined during our spring membership campaign. I hope you wave your Cottonwood Green, I live here on purpose, generic horse pennants with pride. Knowing that you have supported something that you care about. And if you are not a member, you can still do that. I might be able to find a couple of pennants in the back for you. You can email when you become a member. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you for listening. Membership.citycast.fm is the URL to sign up. You can sign up for the daily newsletter I mentioned and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See y'all next time.